Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cbit and welcome to the Blast Fishing Wiki channel. This time we're going to be looking at the 3DS title Bakutsuri Bar Hunter. Anyway, so last time we looked at the Treasure Ghost series and we looked at all of the devices for that series and we looked at Bandai's fishing history. And Bandai, well, they're not one to quit, so after the Treasure Ghost series ended in 2008, and it was never really clear why they ended it. Like, they never gave a specific reason. I don't think they ever really gave a reason at all as to why they would cancel it. I guess declining sales or something, but I feel like, judging based on the community it has now, at least in Japan, there's some pretty devout supporters of the series and a lot of people who actually enjoyed it. It had tournaments set up even like just a couple months before it was cancelled. So I have to wonder really what made it cancel and what made the series go away. But Bandai decided that they weren't finished. So they decided to come back to the series, or well, not the series, Treasure Ghost, but they decided to come back to the idea and they made a spiritual successor. And yes, it took them until 2018, 10 years later, for them to actually revisit this idea. This is a Gale at Gunblade. This has got nothing to do with Bakutsuri. This is the thing we didn't have to show last time, or at least I didn't have one that was working to show you last time. And I probably should have just waited a week, because now I have one that works, and I could have just had that in the original video, and that really annoys me. But swings and roundabouts, I suppose. Maybe someday I will make a video on this unit specifically. I'll probably end up making more videos about the series anyway. But now let's look at this Bakutsuri Bar Hunter for the Nintendo 3DS. This is the 3DS LL version, or XL outside of Japan, and they made 4 versions of the system because it requires some sort of proprietary dock, which you'll see in a minute, that obviously there isn't such thing as one size fits all on the 3DS. They're all freaking different sizes. So they made 4 versions for the 4 different 3DSs that exist. There is a Nintendo 3DS version, a 3DS LL version, which is just the XL outside of Japan, the new Nintendo 3DS version, and the Nintendo 3DS XL version. I obviously have the 3DS LL version because that's the 3DS I own, so we'll be looking at this, but really the version doesn't matter, it's just the size of this dock, which we'll get to. As you can see, this box is really nice. We've got the main character of the anime series here, Tatsuke Tota, and here we have an example of one of the creatures in the game, that is Mega Shark. So on the back, we can apparently turn our 3DS into this monstrosity that allows us to fish like real good, and there's some weird Panasonic branding on it, which we'll get to soon, but yeah, so what exactly came in this big box? Well, I can tell you a DS cartridge didn't, but we'll get onto that in a minute. You got this thing, a dock for the 3DS. They also has this. This is a reel, and this, which is a faceplate. But all of this is no good if we don't have the Nintendo 3DS. So here is my Nintendo 3DS XL, the Luigi version. The only version worth owning, or even worth recognizing. If you don't have this version, you are irrelevant. Anyway, so, how does this work? I don't know. I have opened this thing up. I don't know how it works. It's freaking wizardry, because there's not much inside of this, and yet somehow it's able to detect fishing and movement, and I know a lot of it is on the 3DS side, but like, how does this thing know when it's on or when it's attached? Because if you don't have this thing on, the game's like, hey, turn it on, turn it on. I'm like, how do you know it's not on? How do you know it's reeling? I don't know. I've opened this thing up and I don't get it. So it takes one AAA battery and I've left it on, but don't worry about it. It only consumes power if it's actually connected to the thing. Again, how? Maybe someone can open one of these up and tell me how it works, because I don't know. Anyway, so we put this dock onto the 3DS like this. So we put it down and we kind of just go, and it's in and it's done. Well, it's not done. You got to put this in, but you'll notice it still comes out. So we have to attach the reel to lock it in place. Oh, don't you just love that noise? There we go. And now the reel is in place. The 3DS will not fall out of the system. and you can... You like that sound? You can just reel to your heart's content. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Don't worry, it's not going to impact the video too much, as you'll see later. But I do have a working one of these that doesn't squeak, but it's currently being lent to someone else. So I kind of had to do with this spare that I have lying around, and yeah, that's a shame. And then, obviously, we have to complete the look with the faceplate. There we go. We now have a very Luigi-ish Bar Hunter. And then we can open up the game. And we can play the game. So, let's press start, or continue rather. Yes, Professor, I love you too. Anyway, so this is the main menu. Yes, I have played this a lot. I am level 77. I have played this a lot, but it doesn't really matter. There is a tutorial and stuff when you first boot it up, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is what I'm basically going to show the game off in general today. So, and also some of the peripherals for the game. But not fun for you, because it's time for a break, while I tell you how this was the most irritating video I've ever had to make in the history of my life. And I'm not joking. Here is the 3DS box for Bakutsuri Bar Hunter. When you open it, you will get this. The QR code to download this game. So here it is, Bakutsuri Bar Hunter, and it says new Nintendo 3DS, new 3DS. Yeah, basically the software is the same, it's just the difference is the barcode. So when you open up this pamphlet, it basically tells you how to download the game. It's like, make sure that your connection's on, and then just scan this barcode, this QR code, using your camera, and it will take you straight to the eShop to download the game. I can't do that, and that's because the 3DS's eShop is region locked. It was only the Switch. Yeah, it took them up to the Switch to unregion lock the eShop. So luckily for the sequel to Bakutsuri Bar Hunter, Bakutsuri Hunters, that was not nearly as difficult to get up and running. In fact, I've had that game running for months. This game I only managed to get running about 2 weeks ago, and we will get into exactly why, because it was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life. So, I was like, okay, I can't download the game myself, but I have bought it, so I don't really have any problem with sideloading it onto my 3DS. I don't have a problem with doing that. So, I just went, okay, I guess we'll look the game up and see if we can find a place to download it. And I couldn't find anything. No one had backed up this game at all. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a problem, because I have the bar rod, I have all the stuff, which I'll show later, but I don't have the game, and I need the game to play the game. That's kind of like the whole point. So, basically, I searched for weeks until eventually someone directed me to a place that it had been backed up. But there was one problem with that download. It was the 1.0 version, the very first version released, and the current version of the game is 1.6.7. And I thought at first, oh, okay, it's probably just a load of bug fixes. I can work with this. No, you need the new version, because half of the stuff, pretty much every single thing that I had bought did not work. It did not work on the 1.0 version, because the 1.0 version is vanilla. It has like no compatibility with any of the extra reels or the solos or anything. It had no compatibility with anything. So I was like, well, that sucks. I'm stuck on the vanilla version and can't use anything. I have to find the update. And I kept searching, and I could not find this update anywhere. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should try downloading the update. I mean, it does say update when I try and boot the game up on the 3DS, but it doesn't work. Every time I tried to update the game, it would be at like 0%, then it would go to like 20, and then instantly complete and be like, download complete. But it doesn't actually download anything because it's being region locked out. So I couldn't download the update officially via Nintendo, and I couldn't find the update online. So what did I do? I kept searching, and I just couldn't find anything. And after 4 weeks of this, I was beginning to lose all hope, until I found a person who was very kind, who said he had a Japanese 3DS, and I gave him the QR code for this game, which, by the way, Don't worry about it. I did show it in this video. It will actually work. It's an infinite use code. I gave him the code for the game, and he said he would download the update for me, rip it, and he would send it right to me. Okay, that's awesome. 2 weeks go by. I hear nothing from this dude. So I say, hey, I kind of wanted to know how it was going with the update, you know, just checking in. And he was very rude with me and basically said I had no patience and blocked me and ghosted me. And I was very upset because I was like, that was the one chance I had. I understand people are busy. I just wanted to ask him what was going on after 2 weeks. You know, he said he'd do it. And then he just blocks and ghosts me. And I was really mad. Well, there's one thing that happens to me when I'm mad. I do irrational things. I had to buy a Japanese 3DS and do it myself. Don't say I don't do anything for you guys on this channel. Never say that. I had to purchase a Japanese 3DS just to download an update file to get this game working. I mean, yeah, this 3DS has seen better days. It's missing this. It has scratches on the screen. But I had to buy this. And then I had another problem. Now, the original 3DS, it only takes full-size SD cards. Obviously, this isn't a full-size SD card. This is an SD card adapter. But it only is compatible with full-size SD cards. And that wouldn't be a problem. I actually had one. And even if I didn't, the system that I bought, this system actually came with one. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I realized my laptop doesn't have an SD card slot. It only has a micro SD card slot. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just throw the SD card from my Switch into the 3... No, I can't do that. Because the 3DS doesn't recognize SD cards over a certain size limit. And it wasn't recognizing it, so it wouldn't work. And I was like, oh my god, is anything else going to get in my way? I had to go to the store. I had to purchase a 4GB SD card just to get this thing running so I could download the game. However, I did manage to get this running and eventually download the freaking game. 3DS, please work. There we go. As you can see, I downloaded the game. It took freaking ages to get this working and it was very painful. Very painful. But it's open, but we managed to, I managed to extract the game data off of this because I modded this 3DS and my other 3DS is already modded. And I managed to put it onto my 3DS in order to make this video. I have also uploaded these files to a certain 3DS backup site. I'm not going to name it. It's the most complete one on the internet. That's all you need to know. Look this game's name up in Japanese, you will find it so that you don't have to go through what I did if you decide to play this game. So yeah, I had to do all of that just to get this video to the point it's at. I have no words. I have no words other than I never want to do this ever again. Luckily, we won't have to. Anyway, now that we've finally got past that story, I think we can actually look at the game. I apologize if that rant isn't exactly what you came here to see, but yeah, let's get to the actual game. So here we are on the main menu. So let's have a look at Bakutsuri Bar Hunter. So Bakutsuri Bar Hunter is a fishing game, and it's a lot like Ghost in that it's got this menu screen and you just kind of fish. So let's have a look at some of the options here. This is just I think I might be going too quickly here. Let's have a look at some of the options on the main screen though. So this center option is to go fishing, which we'll look at in a second. But I don't really want to get into that right yet because that's basically going to be like the rest of the video. This is trophy, just means like it gives you like a list of things to do, like catch this many bar souls, or catch this many of this type bar soul, or do this or do that. Basically you just look at those in there. Versus is doing matches against a computer, and completing the matches gets you items and it ranks you up. I'm currently at S rank, so all hail me. Here we have Shikake memory input, which I didn't actually mean to click, I just wanted to highlight it, but you know, we'll go over that again in a minute because it's kind of related to that main thing. And this is to have a look at your bar souls, adjust your party here, and look at the index. There's also this menu here which allows you to scan QR codes to get missions, look at your items, view the credits, save the game, etc. So lots of options, and also you can press X and that will show you what your attached reel's ability is. So I think that's everything, but there's only really three options we care about that much today, and that is the bar soul setup, the Shikake memory, and bar fishing. So first of all, let's look at the library, or the bar soul setup. So the creatures in this game, up here, are known as bar souls. So if we look at the library here, this is a bar soul. Here, this is Kurajidori. And bar souls are creatures that live inside of barcodes. Yes, Bar Hunter is all about scanning barcodes and finding the monsters inside of them. Bar souls can even evolve. So here's Agigatsu, the evolution of Kurajidori. As you can see, there are lots of bar souls to collect. There are a total of 284 bar souls in this game, which is a lot. Yeah, so the bar souls are divided into 5 types. Food, so you got food, ones that are based off food. Life, ones that are based off life. Things like household products, like batteries and beauty products, stuff like that. You got drink, based off drink. Hobby, which is based off like things like hobby products. I don't know, what would you define as a hobby product? Collectibles, I guess. Collectibles, video games, non-essential stuff. And entertainment, which is based off things like CDs, DVDs, books. And basically, the bar souls are divided into those 5 types, plus there's also the god type, which is basically just a null type. So, the reason they're divided into these types is because Bar Hunter is really clever in that it can... Because Japanese barcodes are very clever, basically everything to do with the Japanese barcode is stored within it. So all the digits mean something in the Japanese barcode. It says what company made it, what kind of product it is, and because of how clever that is, this game can detect, oh okay, these digits mean this barcode is for a drink. So we'll make lots of drink bar souls appear. It's very clever. Yes, it is designed for Japanese barcodes, but it will work with English barcodes or barcodes from any other country too, but it will generate random bar souls. Not random as in, if you scan the same code twice, you'll get different bar souls, but random as in there won't be a specific type to them. It still uses an algorithm to generate the bar souls. So bar souls are really helpful. When you catch them, you can add them to your team, you can train them, it's really cool. You can evolve them, and then eventually make a team like this, which is completely busted. It's really awesome. I love the feeling of being able to raise my own bar souls. The Shikake memory system, which we'll get onto later, gives them so much more customizability. You get to train them, evolve them, and just make them into completely destructive machines, and it's a fantastic system. And I'm really sad that Bakutsuri Hunters didn't really have a system equivalent, because this is really cool. And the daylight is starting to fall, so I'm having to turn the light on the camera. Sorry about that, but hopefully it won't cause too much problems. So next up we're going to look at the Shikake memory system. The reason I'm putting it up here is because I kind of want to show you how everything in this works. So Shikake memories are these little nifty things. These little box-like things with really nice look to them. There's 4 types of them. This is a line Shikake memory. We have a lure Shikake memory. We have a box Shikake memory and a trap Shikake memory. Now, I don't mean this is all that they ever made. I mean, there's 4 different categories. I actually have tons of these things, but showing them all off in one video would take forever, so I just wanted to look at one of each. Although maybe to make this visually interesting, let's go with a different line, because I don't want to just use the food line and the food lure. So there we go. Hobby line. There we go. So the lines. These, well, I mean, we'll look at the line to begin with. You press this button on them and boom! That is just amazing. Can I just say how satisfying it is? Before we get into anything else, can I just say how satisfying this is? Just, oh, so satisfying. And on it is a QR code, and yes, feel free to use that, I suppose. I don't really care. I'm not Bandai, whatever. And so let's say, well, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself there again. So what a Shikake memory does, it tells you on the back, it allows you to train. These are like boxes that you put a Barcel into to train. While a Barcel is in here, it will get stronger, level up, get stronger in general, basically, and also learn a special skill that is dependent on what Shikake memory you used. So this is Biri line, so that when you teach this skill to a Barcel, it will do, your reel will do more damage to hobby-type Barcels. So that's generally how it works. So if we wanted to train a Barcel, we go on input, we activate our Shikake memory, and then I just have to somehow scan this QR code. Sorry, I can't do this on camera. There we go, scan complete. Now it's like, who do you want to train? So for the sake of this, let's just train these 2 eggs. Who gives a crap? And then, once you've decided who you want to train, it'll be like, now you need to insert the memory. So there's a slot on the bottom here, next to the light. And if I input this into the bottom, I can't see, here we go. There we go. They are now safely in here. I think that's just really neat. Like, it's completely pointless, but it's amazing. Then we have other Shikake memories like this. This is one of the lure ones. So the lure ones make it so that you are more likely to find the type of Barcel associated with it. And it also makes you more likely to find rare Barcels of that type. But it doesn't have an in-battle effect. We have the box Barcels, box Shikake memories. These are probably some of the most useful because they teach passive skills like just attack buffs and buffs to charge rate and things like that. So these are very, very useful. And they also, while you've got a Barcel in them, raises evolution gauge a lot faster, so they're very, very good. And then we have the trap ones. This is Ocean's Awakening. These teach skills that are very specific, but also very good. Well, they're not all great. Ocean's Awakening, this one here, is fantastic, because it means that if you have an Ocean's Reel, it will change the Ocean's Reel special attack to do something to just make it ridiculously strong, and it's fantastic. So yeah, this one is really good, but not all of them are. Like, there's one of them that means, like, if your opponent is a higher rank than you, you do more damage but take more damage. Some of them are really weird like that. But for the most part, it's really cool, this system, because there's so many effects and skills you can teach to a Barcel. You can train it in so many different ways and make a team that's completely amazing. I mean, just look up all of these Shikake memories and their effects. There's so much to it, and it allows you to make an absolute death team. So it's really cool. Anyway, it's time to get fishing. But first of all, I'm switching this reel out because it squeaks like no tomorrow. Now, there are quite a few reels released. This is the standard reel, so it doesn't really have that powerful of an effect. And honestly, I don't think it's that good. But I mean, they want you to buy a reel, so they're going to make the one that you get packed in that good. I currently have 2 reels. There are 6 that you can purchase. So first of all, we have this. This is the Sun Reel. It's very cool. The Sun Reel does more damage against food Barcels. So as you can see, they made one for every type. So there's this one, which is the Sun one. The Life one is the Swirl. I think it's called the Swirl Reel. We have the Oceans one, the Saltwater Reel. And this is my personal favourite because it just does so much damage. The one for the hobby type is called the Red Thunder Reel, and the one for the entertainment type is called the... I don't remember. I think it's the Cyclone Reel, but I might be wrong. And then there's also a special reel for the God type called the Shinsei Reel, but I don't have that either. So let's equip my favourite reel, the Saltwater Reel, and do some real damage. So yeah, the reels, they're very cool, and they just look great. And man, they're so satisfying. They're so satisfying. I love it. I love it. I love fishing minigame things from Japan, from Bandai. Anyway, so far, I've showed you 2 types of peripherals. I've shown you reels, and I've shown you Shikake memories. And you might think that's it. It is not it. That is not it. Because now we have solos. I'm just trying to get one here. This is a solar. A solar is like, it's one of these. Who'd have thought? They're little toys that have like keychains on, and they look like little lures, which is really cute. As you can see on this keychain, it says this is the one for Dracoryu, and it kind of looks like that bar soul. Yes, solos are adorable. They're these figures that are fish that are meant to look like the actual bar soul, regardless of whether the bar soul is a fish on it. They're just adorable, and I love them. And on the reverse is a barcode that'll allow you to scan to find this specific bar soul. And unfortunately, there's quite a few of them that are exclusive to this. I haven't got them all yet, but one day I will. So I wanted to show you scanning a barcode. So let's get into the actual meat of the game. So let's scan a barcode. We come to the search screen. So we're just going to put the solo on the ground here, and then we're going to scan it with the 3DS. There we go. Scan complete. Enter the fishing spot. You can also save a fishing spot for later, which is really helpful too. There we go. Drink. And it has Dracoryu, Orange Petal, and Soda Snake. So as you can see, there's only 3 bar souls in this one, but that's because it's a special solar fishing spot. So then we can get to fishing, which is really cool. However, I want to try fishing for something a little bit more interesting. So let's not use solar this time. There are also things like this, which is this is a Koro card I've got that also has a barcode for a special bar soul. But again, it only has that bar soul, and I want to fish for something a little bit more interesting. So let's find a barcode, shall we? Yes, this will do nicely. A copy of Mega Man Battle Note 4. Red Sun. It has a barcode on the back, so let's just scan it. When it wants to actually do it. It's not wanting to be helpful. There we go. Scan complete. So now let's get into an actual bar fishing area. So typically when you scan a barcode, you'll see something like this. And here we go. So here are the bar souls we can find in this area. And it varies depending on which barcode you go for. So you can press X to look at all the bar souls that are in this area once again. You can use these items down here, which I'll explain. These 3 are just lures that make certain bar souls more likely to bite. This is a scanner, so if we use a scanner, you can now see what every bar soul is on the map. This item is called the buffer. It allows you to the bar souls that you train can actually be used in battle, and they have special attacks. Normally you can only use 1 special attack in battle, but the item lets you use 2. And then this item here is called I think it's like the Hunter Snack. It basically means that the fishing skill of your reel will be instantly charged at the start of the battle. So you can go, if you know that one of the bar souls you're going for is going to be problematic, you can use one of these items to assist. As you can see, I have tons of them because I don't really use them. Now it's telling us that we need to swing it to cast. Now here we are. We're in the water. So let's rotate the reel and try and get something to bite. He's not interested. That one there's not interested. Is this one interested? Yes, he is. So hit. It's King Ramen. I'm gonna pause it right there. This music is the best thing. Seriously, I've uploaded the soundtrack to my channel. Check it out. It's freaking amazing. Anyway, this is going to be kind of difficult to show off because this game requires you to move the 3DS around. I don't have 3DS capture software, and let's be honest, in this pandemic, no one does, so I'll do what I can, but please forgive me. You basically have to like rotate the reel. Oh, he's already going all the way up there. Alright, we can do our skill at least. Which just requires us to shake the 3DS. Shake. Charged. I did some damage, as you can see. Oh, he's attacking me. He's going this way. There we go, my partner's skill is charged up. Get him, Desdama! Obviously I'm sucking because I'm trying to keep it all on the camera, but there we go. Wow, that does a lot of damage. And once you finish the capture, you have to reel it in. Reel! God damn it. I accidentally knocked down the camera. That is embarrassing. Anyway. Oh no, did I change the orientation somehow? Oh, that's not good. Okay, there we go. Keep reeling! And then you also have to shake the 3DS in the right direction of the arrow, and then at the end, just flip it up to catch. And there we are. We have captured a King Ramen. And that's the game. You just find the bar souls in the world, train your own bar souls, and just have fun. I love this game because it's very much like Treasure Ghost, only on the 3DS using barcodes in real life. It's very simple, and sometimes that's all you need to do. So, there we go. And at the end, your bar souls get experience, and you do as well. And then you simply go back to the menu and scan another barcode. And that's the game. Obviously, there's more to it than that. Like, there's boss fights. Like, you can look for special key bar souls to unlock a Lord bar soul, which are the bosses of this game. And then once you've captured all the Lord bar souls, you get to fight the final boss of the game, Barcore. So there's things like that, but generally, the game is very, very simple, and I honestly kind of appreciate the fact that it's that simple. I don't think we have much more to say about Bar Hunter. It's quite a simple game, but it's really fun. I mean, it's got all the solos and the reels and things to collect, so it appeals to my nature in the worst way. But hey, that's Bakutsuri Bar Hunter. Maybe I'll show more of it off at some point, because I understand that it's at the same time kind of difficult to show off a game where you are moving around so much when you can't, when you don't have 3DS capture software. So I apologise, but that's probably all I'm going to be able to do for this game. But in the next episode, we'll be looking at the sequel to this game, which came out only, I think, about a year and a half later, Bakutsuri Hunters for the Nintendo Switch. And trust me, that is going to be interesting. So for now, I have been Seabit. I hope this video on Bakutsuri Bar Hunter was at least somewhat informative. At least you could see what the game was sort of like. Maybe make your decision on whether you thought it would be for you. But, yeah, I think I've shown it off as well as I can. I apologise if there's anything you want to know that I didn't show up. Leave it in the comments. I'll answer all comments. I'm always open to things like that. I have been working on a full guide for this game that has a barcode for every single bar soul, but it's not complete yet. When it is complete, I will add it to the description of this video as a downloadable file. It might be a little bit large because there's a lot of pictures in it, but, you know, have a look at it if you get the chance. Anyway, this was Blast Fishing Wiki. I've been Seabit. I still am Seabit, so I don't know why I said that, but, yeah, I guess I'll see you all next time. And maybe with a better set of puns next time, or just a sense of humour in general. Anyway, till next time, guys, I love you all, and keep on fishing for dragons and fairies and demons. Lots of demons.